protected illegal alien drug dealers so they could escape deportation. Kamala Harris, a dangerous San Francisco liberal. Make America Great Again, Inc. is responsible for the
It's 3:30 a.m. in a neighborhood in the city of Akron.
It's your boy Ace, we hopping right into it, no talking, let's go.
CCTV records a man in a jumpsuit walking up to a house. Seconds later, what could only be a nightmare begins.
Akron 911.
Well, I got a fire going on 4th Avenue. It's fully engulfed. I think there's people in the house. It's blazing, man. It's blazing. I can feel the heat. The lights are going out. It's going quick, man. If somebody's in there, they're hit, man.
As the flames engulf the house, the mysterious man disappears into the night, leaving a trail of blood behind him.
Oh my God. Hurry, please. Oh, Jesus, the whole house is on fire.
As authorities were called to investigate, they had no...
Just so y'all are updated, real quick, this is cops trying to find a serial killer fucking arsonist. There's not going to be a lot of talking in this video, bro. It's not. Let's go. I don't got time for it. I'm trying to watch and see what is going on with this. I've never heard of a serial killer arsonist. I've never heard of that. In movies, yeah, but bro,
idea what they were stepping into. This would only be the beginning of a series of fatal fires set by a vicious, cold-blooded killer, and detectives would soon find themselves racing against the clock as a serial arsonist hunts for his next victims. The night of April 17th, 2016 was uneventful for 66-year-old Lindell Lewis. He had just gone through a hip replacement surgery and was resting at his home on 719 Fultz Street, being looked after by Gloria Jean Hart, his girlfriend at the time. However, this night would be different. This night would plunge the once peaceful city of Akron into sheer terror. In the early hours of April 18th, close to 3:33 a.m., CCTV footage captured a man walking in the direction that led directly to Lindell's house. And moments later, tragedy would strike the house of Lindell Lewis. Because he was in a hurry to escape, this first attempt at setting the house on fire had failed, and the flames died out, prompting the arsonist to make a return for a second time to make sure he finished the job. At around 3:40 a.m. and approximately 3 minutes after this second round of dousing the house with what appears to be gasoline, a raging fire would swallow up the entirety of Lindell's house. This was an early Monday morning, and most people in Lane Worcester neighborhood were asleep preparing for work. No one would have been awake to see who this masked arsonist was. More importantly, whoever this was well aware of Lindell's hip surgery, as it had made him wheelchair-ridden and unable to move. This meant that the fire was started knowing that he would never be able to escape. And soon enough, 911 calls would begin pouring in as the fire raged on.
Akron 911.
It's 725, it's next door. I can feel the heat, the lights are going out. It's going quick, man. If somebody's in there, they're dead, man.
help! Help! He killing Boss Ashcombe! Help! He killing Boss Ashcombe!
They're on their way already.
Presumably,
It reminded me of that scene from Green Mile. I don't know why.
Lindell and his girlfriend were sleeping in their bedroom on the upper floor of the house when the fire initially began. Since the masked arsonist ensured that the fire spread from the ground floor, this meant that by the time they woke up because of the heat and crackling of the fire, they had no escape, especially because Lindell was unable to move by himself. Gloria most likely helped Lindell move from the bed, and the couple retreated to their bedroom in an attempt to get as far away as possible. But all this did was delay the inevitable. As firefighters and EMS arrived at the scene, the elderly couple was heard screaming for help from inside their bathroom. Even with desperate attempts to save them, it was far too late. This gasoline fire was far too violent, and the smoke was far too thick. Gloria Jean Hart and Lindell Lewis were pronounced dead by the time they were discovered. A tragedy like this was unheard of in Akron, not only because of the fact that there was now an arsonist on the loose, but because no one knew who his next victim would be.
Get ready for an in-demand career with Penn Foster's online.
Because as it turns out, Lindell and Gloria were only 2 of his 9 victims to come. The hunt for this masked murderer was on, and soon enough to come. Lindell and Gloria were only 2 of his 9 victims to come.
I need to go to Ohio. You know what I'm seeing? I'm seeing a lot of mixed kids. And if y'all know me, y'all know your boy, I like white girls. So, wrong time to point that out. I was trying to see, before I pointed it out, who his victims were, right? One thing I know for sure about watching the footage, y'all know, shout out to DJ Ghost. Because of him, we don't pre-watch our videos. It's still fucking. But because of DJ Ghost, ever since I started this channel, bro, I don't pre-watch my videos. So, one thing I can say about the serial killer is that he's black. He weighs over 200 pounds, and he's at least 5'10" to 6 feet 1, right? I forgot what my point was to say this, but for a black, so here's that point. For a black dude to be out here killing other black people in the way that he's doing it, and he's killing kids, bro, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You going to hell. You going to, bro? It's gonna be hard to whew. We all, and some of y'all think y'all different from this man, and y'all not. Y'all end up in hell just like this motherfucker. Why? Because we think that we're different, and we're not. All of us, we got sins in our hearts, in our minds, in our bodies, bro. That God says ain't nobody different, bro. That's why these pastors and preachers and all these so-called Christians who think they're better than other people, and then when we all get judged, 90% of people who think like that, 100% of people that think like that, first off, are gonna have a hard time with God, bro. But this right here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 kids, gang, that you are burning alive, bro. You got some explaining to do, my boy. But this is a warning to all you Christians. And if you don't believe in Christ, you already fucked. Especially with what's coming. But, man, as a Christian, don't think that you're better off than this man. Christian. Most of us are not. Without Jesus Christ, without being humble, we're all fucked, man. Let's keep going.
The hunt for this masked murderer was on, and soon enough, detectives had a lead. During the night this fire occurred, the suspect had fled in this direction immediately after his second attempt. This meant that whoever this was lived in this general vicinity, and considering this the very first suspect,
That doesn't mean he lived in that vicinity. What the hell?
would be Stanley Ford. Stanley was a peculiar man.
And you can tell he's old. I would say he's over 35 years old. Because of the way that he ran off from that scene, he's over 35.
He often claimed to be a guardian sent by God and would spend his days sleeping so he could stay awake at night to watch over the neighborhood. Additionally, Stanley was also Lindell's neighbor, and the two had spent many years living next to each other. This is why officers were certain that Stanley would react with sorrow when informed of Lindell's death. But when a call was made telling him of the tragedy, something was off.
I was calling to follow up with you about the
Here, hug me. Kyle?
fire across the street. You know, because of the tumultuous history that you and the people in Lindell's house had, everybody is thinking you, right?
No, Tanisha, listen to me once again. I do not mess with these people up here. Them guys try to get me to come on and engage with them. Them guys was nasty. They had prostitutes in and out all night. They was dealing with homosexuality. Them people was just bad people. I didn't do nothing to them people. Them people were just mean. I mean, listen here.
What did I just fucking say? What did I just say, bro? Christians like this, black, white, Hispanic, whatever race you are, whatever denomination, how rich, how poor, if you think like this man, you're not part of Jesus Christ, bro. And if you're not a part of Jesus Christ, you're part of the devil. And this is why I say this. Fuck the devil. In the name of Jesus Christ. We stomp on the devil. On the serpent's head. You know what I'm saying? We are soldiers and warriors. Amen. But don't get it twisted, bro. We sin. We mess up. I'm not a perfect Christian. I'm not a preacher. No. I smoke my weed. You know what I'm saying? I'm a young man. You know what I'm saying? I'm not one of those who's perfect and truly in the light. But we gonna preach the truth. Whether no matter who you are, what you are, you know, the truth, let it echo as the truth, man. No matter who you are, what you are, we always got to call on God, you know, so he can meet us where we are and help us be better people and eventually, you know, give everything to him that he needs from us, you know. But in the meantime, bro, we're going to speak these truths no matter where we are. I don't care where we are in life or where we are in God. Christians like this will not make it to God. We just talked about this.
They moved up here, Tanisha.
If they stay the same, let me say that.
Everything that wasn't voted down.
Well, Mr. Ford, this is my concern.
What's your concern?
Is that how to make people believe that it wasn't you.
Tanisha, you either take my word or you don't. That's all I can tell you.
Well, we do have another option.
What's that?
The polygraph.
Suspiciously, not only did Stanley refuse a polygraph test, but
Hey, I don't care if I'm answering guilty. I'm not taking no polygraph for no police. It was like 45% of polygraphs fail, bro. It's not like it's not valid. It's probably not 45%, but it's a high number.
Others believed his reaction to be endorsing Lindell's death rather than mourning it. This was likely because of a lull in the two's relationship that stemmed from their arguments about property boundaries and maintenance. However, in all fairness, this case was not limited to Lindell alone. In fact, Stanley was infamous for often disputing with neighbors when it came to property boundaries. All things considered, Stanley was only seen as a weird and obnoxious neighbor rather than someone who would burn a house down. For now, at least, he was not the most prominent suspect, as detectives began to believe that the one responsible for this fire may have been someone inside Lindell's house. The night the fire occurred, Lindell and Gloria were not the only ones in the house. Thomas Hugley and Garrett were two of Lindell's friends who were going through tough times due to financial constraints. Lindell was kind enough to offer the two of them a place in the basement of his home. Fortunately, Thomas escaped before the fire could swallow up the basement, but Garrett, on the other hand, just so happened to be somewhere else that night. By April 22nd, 2016, Akron detectives would call in Garrett for an interview to find out what really happened.
First, let me say that I hate having to put you out here.
Garrett is way too old, bro. He is not the... Come on, bro. Y'all see even in the video, the suspect is too big to be this dude. His natural body weight was way too big to be this dude, bro. Come on, man.
like that. Like all
That was terrible. I like, what the hell?
And his hands were way fatter than that, bro. Come on, bro.
Hands?
You cuss, that's my first language. But I was worried because they said you lived down there, and I hadn't seen or heard from you, so I waited.
Yeah, I was there earlier that day because I was over my auntie's house doing a job for her.
Mm-hmm. What's her name?
Shit. Williams. I forgot her last name.
Because the main reason I wanted to find you, make sure one, that you safe and you okay, and to find
I didn't know nothing about it until my sister then called me, and Mr. Hewley called me.
And what they say?
They said the house burned down, but they didn't tell me nothing about nobody got hurt in there. And then my best friend.
How can a robot cook over 2 million baskets of fries? Meet Flippy, the AI-powered kitchen.
And this is another thing to say. Do y'all think that those people thought that they was gonna die that night? So it's like, even me, bro, even if I died tonight, bro, I believe in Jesus Christ, but I would still have to, you know what I'm saying, answer for my sins no matter what. So it's like, always be ready to answer for your sins. Dude, what are you doing? Always be ready to answer for your sins, because you never know when you're gonna die.
For detectives, it is definitely odd that Garrett is taking so long to remember the finer details, but this is nothing conclusive as of now. However, they are confident that by poking deeper, they might be able to find some clues.
Have you heard about anybody who got a beef with him?
No, that I know of.
What was that thought you just had?
That was that I know of. Nobody I know of right off the head.
That don't seem like the truth. It seems like you're choking on the truth right now.
I said, I don't know offhand, because I didn't know the people he knew.
Now, it's obvious you just had a thought. Do you just not want to speak because all of us in here, or
no,
you not want to speak because you're at the police station?
I don't know.
You definitely had a thought right there.
All I know is they purport to have a restraining order that guy across the street, stand something. That's all I knew.
Stanley's name has once again crept into the conversation. In fact, rumors about Lindell and Stanley's conflicts had already spread like wildfire, and he was on his way to becoming suspect number 1. But for detectives, this could mean anything. Stanley would alternatively be the most suitable for Garrett to pin his crimes on, a neighbor with a god complex who had frequent conflicts with Lindell. Furthermore, Garrett has not given any details about his alibi. All we know is that during the night of the fire, he was at his aunt's house and was spending time with his niece. This is why detectives would not let up putting pressure on Garrett.
You're the only person that ain't even gave a scenario. And that kind of made me suspicious of anything that you might have heard or thought. You're the only one.
But I don't know nothing. I wasn't there.
I know you weren't there.
I wasn't been there in a couple of days. So.
You weren't there, but you're the only one.
All right, let's do it this way. The night of the fire, the night it happened.
I was at my niece's house.
What time did you get there?
I don't know what time to get there.
Was it light outside or was it dark?
I don't know. We was intoxicated, what can I say?
We was. Who were you with?
Me and my niece.
And what time did you leave there?
The next day, I think.
What time did the fire happen?
I don't know. Thomas told me it was 3 o'clock in the morning. I don't know.
Let me ask you this question. Was you going to the funeral today?
Yes. Yes.
You know what time it is?
It's probably 10 o'clock. That's what he said.
I'm going to say this. I'm just going to go on straight with you. But the gut feeling I got is that you have some names swirling in your head. You just don't want to give them because you don't want to get them.
I don't know them.
Right.
I don't know.
This is why you never do. Like volunteering questionings, even if you're innocent, because innocent people, this man's innocent, 100%. He might know some names, but even if you're innocent, you never do this without a lawyer, because the way that she's pounding him should be illegal, first off, which probably is, but it's voluntary, so it's probably not. But this is just wrong, bro. This is an elderly man who's at his homie's house doing whatever they do together, and he got out. Well, he wasn't even there. So Like I said, it's not him, bro. He's too, no.
People,
You might not
socialize with them people.
We need your help. We're asking for your help.
I know, I understand that. I just don't really know much, man. But man, they protected me when I was on the football field. I had to be tackled, and they made it happen for me. They said, we ain't gonna get tackled. Oh my God. They was good guys.
For detectives, this was perplexing. A suspect that was willing to cry for his dead friend and housemate, yet had no solid story for where he was on that day, created a contradicting situation. No matter—
He's a drunk, you idiot. They can't remember the last thing they ate the last 2 days.
what, detectives cannot be certain that Garrett is the arsonist, so they would slowly push him towards a polygraph test, claiming it's the only way to prove his innocence.
Let's see if we can't get Sergeant Butler to come in and schedule a polygraph.
Yeah, okay.
I'll call you and schedule.
No, it's his schedule.
We got a polygraph operator here. We're going to bring him in here and he's going to schedule it with you. Set up an appointment.
Oh my God. This is nuts. You know, I'm about to have a fucking heart attack.
Listen, man. We're trying to help here. We're not.
You're trying to help by.
I know I will. If I can help you, I will. I swear to God, I will.
Well, if you need to get something off your chest and let us know something that you know, you would feel a whole lot better. But you're our key to the information about who's.
Why me? Why y'all putting it on me? I wasn't even
because you lived in the house for 2 years.
Yeah, but I was never there on it.
And you're saying that you don't know or have heard anything about any
I have not. I haven't been here long enough to hear
the car fire that happened in 2013 and you were in the house. You have no clue of who may have started.
You're saying nobody gave any names?
No scenarios, no theories, no nothing.
It's just not plausible, sir.
I mean, that just goes on in a normal conversation. Who do you think did this?
I don't know.
That's just part of the normal conversation.
Even though Garrett just agreed to the polygraph, just moments later, he would have second thoughts.
Mr. Garrett, Sergeant Butler.
They're saying you want to take a polygraph.
Let me take a polygraph anyway.
You just said you would. You want to. You said, well, we have it. Let me take a polygraph.
I didn't say that. I said I probably would. I said I would if I needed to.
Well, it's coming down to a need.
Oh, really?
Yes, sir.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Go ahead and talk to the sergeant here. He'll explain it. Is this something that you'd be willing to do, is take a polygraph?
No, I said that's it working. Why is that working like that?
You volunteered.
I didn't say that. I said I might.
Usually, suspects are never legally obligated to undergo a polygraph test. Even if they did, these tests are not presentable in court due to a lack of accuracy and reliability, since results are affected by several factors like anxiety and mental and physical health. And with Garrett's insistence that he is innocent and was not at Lindell's house often, detectives are stuck with no other suspects. Their only remaining choice was Stanley Ford, the self-proclaimed neighborhood guardian. But at this point,
Everything is in the movements, bro. Everything is in the movements. I need to see how big his hands are, too.
was Stanley Ford.
Look, a heavier set dude.
The
from 5'10" to 6'1". And look at that. You remember how the dude ran away? Remember how the dude ran away? Look at how he walked.
Claimed neighborhood guardian. But at this point, this was more of a gut feeling for detectives, as they could not put up a plausible case against him for an arrest. In their eyes, many suspects were just as suspicious as Stanley, if not more. This meant the arsonist was still on the loose, and maybe these investigations had scared him, because things seemed...
For a Christian to burn people, though, you gotta be a crazy type of demon person, bro. For real. You are demonic, bro. For a Christian to go out there burning people, if it's him, innocent till proven guilty, that still matters, bro. Evidence matters. Everything I was saying is still circumstantial. He's fitting that description really good right now, though.
To settle down. For the entirety of 2016, there were no more fires, and most began to forget about the incident. However, this peace would soon come to an end. On January 23, 2017, someone set fire to a vehicle on 723 Russell Avenue, just a few blocks away from the first fire. The next 2 months would be another wave of silence from the arsonist until May 15, 2017, when close to 3 a.m., Lane Worcester neighborhood was given another rude awakening.
Multiple people are dead after a house fire in Akron this morning, and at least some were children.
The Akron Fire Department says the home was fully engulfed when they arrived. The heat was so high, a stair.
Evermore is the only vacation resort next to Walt Disney World that offers the comforts of a home with the perks of a hotel. So you can enjoy a hassle-free house for the holidays that can fit up to 32 loved ones. With meal
Staircase melted away. The exact number of victims has not been released.
A fire on 693 Fultz Avenue had resulted in the death of 7 people. 35-year-old Dennis Huggins and 38-year-old Angela.
No wonder why it was all those damn mixed kids. This dude. But did they show him?
Boggs, along with their 5 children, aged between 16 months and 14 years.
They were all his?
Was the second major.
And what's that narrative they keep saying about black dads? No. We're fucking awesome, bro. But, like I keep telling y'all black men, bro, stop dating black women who are ghetto, who are abusive. I keep telling y'all, the worst I've ever seen a black man get treated was by a black woman, bro. You gotta marry a white girl, bro. Or Spanish. I wouldn't even say, I know. If she's gentle, right? Race doesn't really matter, bro. But the worst I've ever seen a black man get treated, bro, was by another black woman, bro. I'm not sticking with it. Nope.
Fire after the Lindell home was burned to a crisp 13 months prior. The fire had started in trash cans placed at the front of the house and spread quickly through the porch into the home. However, this was no accident. According to a forensic analysis, an accelerant identified as gasoline was dumped into the cans. The flames were intense and enveloped the house within seconds. There was no room for escape. And just like the first fire, all 7 victims were found huddled in corners of the home as they had been trapped by the smoke and flames. The bodies had been burnt so badly that the only way to identify them was through a DNA test. This was a tragedy, but compared to the first fire, finding the suspect this time wouldn't be hard, as there were only 2 options. The first was Patrick Boggs, who had a bit of history with Angela Boggs.
No. This suspect is black. This is a black dude. How do I know that? The dumbass didn't wear gloves, so we saw his hands. What the hell do these cops be doing? Pulling in the wrong suspects, questioning the wrong people, wasting y'all resources on the wrong fucking people, bro. Like, come on.
Boggs, the mother of the children in this fire. Patrick Boggs served 12 years in prison for dousing Angela in kerosene and threatening to set her on fire in 2001. He was a violent man and had even tried to stab someone, making him a very plausible suspect. But even with his past, Patrick was quickly discarded as cameras provided he had never left his home in Ohio. More importantly, an extensive polygraph test proved that Patrick was telling the truth about not being involved in this crime. However, his role in these murders wouldn't end here, as we'd later find out. For now, the only remaining suspect here being involved in this crime. However, his role in these murders wouldn't end here, as we'd later find out. For now, the only remaining suspect was a familiar face, one that was a common denominator in both fires: Stanley Ford. And this time, officers were prepared to gather a mountain of evidence against him.
They treat me like I'm a suspect, man. I'm not a suspect.
The first step was to obtain a search warrant for Stanley's home, which would result in a crucial piece of evidence being found. Worn-out tennis shoes that had been covered in an accelerant. An accelerant that just so happened to be gasoline. But the evidence wouldn't end here. One of the detectives would decide to have a one-on-one conversation with Stanley in his car, and what he says would be nothing short of disturbing.
No, listen what I'm saying.
This is so wrong, man.
Listen what I'm saying.
It's embarrassing to my neighbor.
Listen what I'm saying. You mentioned some things last night about some bad people at the house, or?
Well, to me, I thought they was bad kids. Well, the stuff they was just doing immature stuff in the neighborhood.
Like what?
Shit, kicking vehicles' rear view mirrors, busting them out and stuff like that.
Is that a good way to get rid of somebody moving out the neighborhood or get rid of that?
No, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do it like that. Why would I do that? I wouldn't do it at all. I ain't gonna set somebody on fire just to get them out of the neighborhood. That ain't godly, like, man. That ain't human nature, like that.
Yeah, that's evil. That's pure evil, right?
Man, I'm not evil, man.
Yet another instance of Stanley Ford justifying not only the deaths of the couple, but of their 5 innocent little children too. Just like in the murder of Lindell Lewis, there was a pattern of pure hatred towards the victims. A pattern so disgusting that Stanley felt it was his God-given right to purge anyone who upset the guardian of the neighborhood. In this case, Stanley often accused the family of dealing drugs, damaging his property, and engaging in illegal activities which only fueled his hatred towards them. Several neighbors had witnessed heated exchanges between the couple and Stanley leading up to the fire. Not only that, but the night of the fire, neighbors mentioned how they saw Stanley continuously patrolling the house. This would be corroborated by CCTV footage that would not only catch Stanley walking towards the house right before the fire, but also running away from it after. If all of this was not compelling enough, there would be one last piece of evidence that would solve the mystery of the arsonist. Take a look at this footage from the 2016 fire of Lindell's home. Now, matching this with the footage from the 2017 fire, and matching...
I told y'all it's all about... What? Nigga, shout out to me, bro. Shout outs to me, bro. Shout outs to everybody watching, gang. And y'all already know, bro. We don't pre-watch our videos, man. Shout out to the people, man. Watch it. Hearing me say these historic things. These things that it took robots to figure out, bro. It took robots to figure out what I said in an instant of watching this video, bro. Stop doubting yourselves. Y'all got abilities that people don't even... That's a superpower, bro. It took robots to figure out what I figured out in a couple of minutes of just watching movements, bro. Come on, man. Stop.
Both with the footage from when police spoke with Stanley in the neighborhood, there is one correlation. The way the suspect walks is exactly the same as Stanley's stride. Without a doubt, Stanley was the one responsible for the cold-blooded murders of 9 people. Officers were now certain of this, and soon enough, Stanley was called in for an interview to be confronted with his sick crimes.
We want to talk to you.
If he had a good lawyer, he could fight that, though. There's too many holes in this case.
Get ready for an in-demand career with
Just playing devil's advocate, though. There's like 3 major holes in this case.
Foster's online healthcare programs. With our flexible...
Well, really just one. Maybe like 2.
I want you to be honest with me. Okay. Be honest. It's talking about the day in question. Let's go back to the fire. What about it? Okay. What can you tell us about the fire? I don't have no knowledge of that. So what's the point? You know, sometimes I explain to him, you know, I exercise, something I get Charlie horses. Right. Sometimes I walk the street and back. You know what I mean? Something like that. But I didn't do that fire, man.
In the face of these denials, detectives decide that enough is enough. No matter what, they need a confession out of Stanley, and the best way to do that is to show him all the evidence that points towards him being the...
If, like, let's say this was a clear-cut case, they wouldn't have to do none of this. They would have to need a confession. Like I said, there's holes in this case, bro. If he didn't confess, if they don't get a confession out of him, he could fight this with a good lawyer.
The arsonist.
As you running back to the house. At the time of the fire. Okay. Right. We got you running to the house. You're not asleep. You weren't. You're on the camera, Stanley. I wasn't on the camera running from the fire. Stanley, you're on the camera running from a fire. We got you. I didn't run from no fire. Stanley, listen. It's time to.
You lying like. Number one code that like 75% of people know. When your voice goes high pitch, you're lying. When your voice goes hysterical high pitch, you know that they're onto you and you're trying to escape and throw the what am I trying to say? You're trying to throw them off of you. Like you know, like you know that you. Not only are you trying to lie, you're trying to throw them off and put them on to another suspect. Like take the target off your back in a sense, right? That is, he not only changed his pitch, he went hysterical high pitch.
It's time. Man, listen, yeah. We know the answers, okay? Right. But I wasn't running from no fire. Okay, you walk. You see the fire, okay? You're at the fire. No, I'm not at no fire. You're at the fire. I'm at the fire? Yeah, you're at the fire. Go ahead. We need to hear your side of the story. I'm being honest, man. I didn't do anything. I mean, I can't look at somebody and do what I would do to did that. I got too much to lose, man. We got all the pieces, we know the answers. This is what we want to know. Is there some reasoning or some kind of something that happened?
You know why a lot of Christians act like this, man? It's because we don't fear God, bro. We don't really understand how crazy that man is, bro. That being is insane. Awesome, loving. But when I say he is, bro, animes can't depict how crazy this dude is. And animes depict some crazy battles, bro. He's God, the Father, who sent his Son to die for those who would believe in him. He sent his Son to die for the world. But for those who will believe in him, for sure, have a set place for them in heaven. Understand? But that's because you believe in God. Doesn't mean you're making it, bro. Because you can't kill innocent kids and think you're going to go for this peace and love and enjoyment for all eternity. Boy, you are out of y'all. God says the road is narrow for a reason. Right? Boy. We don't fear God. And this is why I also have this conversation with God, right? I say to God, 90% of this world is your fault. I say that to the Father. I do. And I say that because if God is what he was back in the day, relevant and present, look, we would not be doing the stuff we would be doing, Gabe. Bro, oh my gosh. But it's just like, we're not robots. That's why God is awesome. Because he created us and he's like, I'm not gonna hinder your thoughts. I'm not gonna hinder your movements. I'm gonna give you free will. You know? So it's up to us to live our lives the way that we're supposed to. But if you think you can burn people alive, if you think you can be racist, if you think that you can not forgive people who've hurt you in your past, if you think your money is going to save you, if you think that you're higher than me or higher than the next person or greater than thou, and if you're serving yourself and not Jesus Christ, you're in trouble.
Happen man, somebody piss you off, somebody do something. No. To maybe why, maybe like I said, maybe trying to send a message. Okay. I'm allowed to walk the neighborhood. I wasn't at nobody's house. I'm walking. Explain why you running back from the house. I didn't do that. Oh yeah, I'll tell you, I got it wrong.
Let your student build their own future at Coast to Mountains Preparatory Academy. Now enrolling grades K through.
Well, there you go. Okay, we got you.
Often a suspect will refute their crimes even in the presence of concrete evidence, as this would still give them a fighting chance in court. In this case, Stanley is doing exactly this, and no matter what detectives say, he won't be cracking anytime soon.
Y'all believe that I did it? No, we proved that you done. I didn't do that.
If you proved that he done it, he wouldn't be there right now. He'll be in jail.
I did that, man. Do you want me to explain your charges to you, or do you want to explain them? I didn't do it. I'm serious. I didn't do it. I'm not going to admit to that. I didn't do it. If I did, I admit to it. I didn't do that. Let me explain your charges. Go ahead. Okay. You have 7 counts of aggravated murder.
However, this would be far from the end of Stanley's saga. Because he never admitted to anything and had a history of being mentally unstable, there was a chance that he could get away completely scot-free in court due to his mental status being absolved of all his crimes. 62-year-old Stanley Ford's trial would begin on Monday, August 30th, with the prosecutor, Michael D'Angelo, making his opening statements that focused on...
Take note, his trial took so long. He went from bald to dreads. What in the freak?
Correlating the masked arsonist with Stanley Ford.
That timeline, his statements, and the similarity.
Another note. This is why I do not agree with living like this. I don't agree with that. No. This is another reason. First off, I'm not paying $300,000 for a house with no yard. I need at least 4 acres, bro. At least 4 acres. That's personally mine, you know what I'm saying? And number one, I watch too many movies, bro. Too many people are serial killers that we don't know. And be your neighbors, it'd be random people, bro. So it's just like people can slip out their windows, go through this back door, just like this nigga did. I don't like this, bro. Put me in the country, give me at least 2 to 3 acres, an outside dog, bro. I ain't playing. You come on that yard, bro.
Series of his actions show his opportunity, and ladies and gentlemen, the evidence, all of that will reveal his identity. And that will show you that when the defendant gets angry with his neighbors, he sets their property on fire and he kills them. And at the conclusion of this case, Mr. LaPrinzi and I are going to ask you to find the defendant guilty of all the charges and all the specifications.
Stanley's defense, on the other hand, knew the kind of uphill battle that they were facing and decided that the best approach would be not to prove Stanley's innocence, but to disprove the suspicions of his identity.
A lot of the evidence that you're going to be presented to is not a dispute. It's not a dispute that there were 3 fires set. It's not a dispute that all 3 fires were set intentionally. And it certainly is not a dispute that there were 9 deaths.
Gifts are gifts. I'm going to use my gift right now. He's talking as a lawyer who does not believe in his client. This is a lawyer who's in it for the money, right? He's not talking as one who's trying to convince the people, bro. It's just like blatant facts. Like, You can hear it in their voices, man. He's not talking to someone who's trying to convince people that he's really innocent, which is his job. This is what you sign up for, bro. It's not just about the money.
The medical examiner's going to come in, talk to you about the homicides that she ruled, and then the cause and the manner of all 9 of those deaths. Those facts are not in dispute. But again, as defense, we told you, and you know that the state of Ohio has the burden of proof to prove each and every element.
Oh, he sounds fucking retarded.
Defense has the burden to prove not.
Sorry, not retarded. He sounds slow and redundant.
On the surface, this might seem like an
Again, sorry.
open and shut case, but Stanley's defense has planned for these hearings thoroughly and knew exactly who to blame, because there was one person who could turn the tides in Stanley's favor: Patrick Boggs, the same man who was the initial suspect for the second fire. When Patrick was arrested, the most conclusive evidence to dispel suspicions was his polygraph tests, but these tests are not admissible.
Why does Patrick look like the defense attorney?
In court. This meant that when lead detective Troy Looney was called to the stand, he could do nothing but watch as the defense twisted this case.
You knew during the course of your investigation in 2001 that Patrick Boggs tried to set Angela Boggs on fire, correct?
Correct.
Also beat her up, correct?
Correct.
He believed she was cheating on him with a black man, correct?
Correct.
That piqued your interest in this case too because of who Angela Boggs was now dating, correct?
That's correct.
Based on what he just said, this is something I will never do in life again. You live and you learn, right? And you ask people to make sure and affirm that that's what it is, right? If a girl ever cheats on her man for you, never wife her. Because she will also cheat on you for another man.
This line of questioning puts the prosecution in a tough spot, as Detective Troy could not immediately dispel the doubts of Patrick being the suspect using the results of the polygraph test. However, the defense would not lose momentum on this win. They would play their final trump card, bringing in Patrick Boggs himself as a witness.
And at this time, do you choose to testify?
I choose plead the fifth, and not testify at all.
So you're choosing to invoke your Fifth Amendment right against self-incrimination, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
With him pleading the fifth, the defense's case became much stronger because for the jury, a suspect refusing to answer questions meant that he did not want to incriminate himself in a crime that he may have been involved in, thus shifting some of the blame off of Stanley. Fortunately, there was one silver lining. A major step of the defense's plan was to use Stanley's extreme beliefs to drive the case towards an evaluation of his mental health.
In a trial, as a lawyer, this is why I said this lawyer is slow and redundant. If you're watching within the last 5 years, the cases where people are pleading mental health to a trial and how they've been feeling about it, that would be the last resort in any situation. Damn, it's mental health, or if you can escape or not, or whatever they said previously. This would be the last thing we would ever say. We would never say this point blank, period. We're not here for that. People, and if a judge and if a trial or judge are letting people get away with mental health issues in 2024, they're either brought off or just liberals, which means lost will people.
Luckily for them, if Stanley didn't hesitate to murder 9 people, he wouldn't hesitate to fight his own defense team and admit in front of the jury that he had no mental issues.
I committed a crime to be pretty to deal with all these companies and these different psychologists and psychiatrists and stuff. Does that make any sense?
One of the things students love about culinary school online with the Scopier is the toolkit.
But I gotta tell you, it's incumbent upon you to collaborate with Dr. Cartridge.
I'm not saying a doctor, Your Honor. I'm done with it. I'm not saying no more doctor.
At this point, the only thing left to do was for the jury to come to a decision. However, even with every single one of the defense's attempts to save Stanley, the decision would come out to be in favor of the prosecution due to the overwhelming evidence they had. The similar walks of the suspect, recordings of Stanley expressing his hate towards his neighbors, and Stanley running back to his home after the second fire.
One verdict, one aggravated murder regarding Angela Boggs. We, the jury, being duly paneled and sworn and affirmed to well and truly try and do deliverance make between the state of Ohio and the defendant Stanley O. Ford, do find the defendant guilty of the offense of aggravated murder, a charge in the indictment, on or about the 15th day of May 2017.
But even though he was found guilty of the fires, jurors were yet to conclude their decision about Stanley's punishment. This is when the defense decided to move forward with Plan B, do anything to save Stanley from the death penalty. There were a total of 12 jurors, and a unanimous vote was needed to give Stanley the death penalty, even if one of them
Boy, if he was in Texas, that would be a no. Which is it Texas or Alabama, bro? They do need to reinstate the death penalty, but they need to put people in charge who are black, white, brown, and it can't be people like whoever in charge of the death penalty, bro. They gotta be on a true legal justice bias, bro. Like when they were doing it before, they were just killing people, bro, with the wrong evidence or with lack of evidence, and half the time they're wrong. In today's world, they definitely need to bring it back. If he was in Texas, he would have been gone already.
disagreed, he would be given a life sentence instead, and on the 12th day of his trial, only 11 of the 12 would vote in favor of the death penalty. The defense was successful in their attempts to save him, as just one juror disagreed, feeling that he should only be given life in jail. But even his life sentence would not be kind to him, because for every single year of his life, he would be reminded of his sick and disgusting crimes. Stanley Ford would receive 9 consecutive life sentences for every single one of his victims.
Hey, what Alicia D said, he got the bitch. Get. Yes, boy, he deserve it too. He lucky, boy. He was in Texas, he would have been gone. Love y'all. Thank y'all for watching. Have a good day.